Hey guys, Phil Rosengren here with BetterPitching.com. In this video, we're going to talk about how to throw a traditional big league curveball, a 12-6 curveball. Specifically, we're going to talk about 3 things that you need to have to throw a good curveball. And those 3 things are, you need to have a good grip. That mainly means finding a seam with your middle finger that you can grab onto. Number 2 is you have to have good hand position and wrist position when you throw this pitch. So on my fastball, I'm going to be right here behind the ball. On my curveball, I'm going to be here on the side of the ball with my wrist and my hand. And then the last thing you need to have is good finger pressure with that middle finger. That's the most important most important finger on this pitch is your middle finger. Okay, you need to have good finger pressure with that middle finger so that as you release, you're able to grab onto that seam, get that good tight rotation and good downward action on the ball. So let's now just go through those 3 things. Those 3 things you have to throw a good 12-6 curveball. First off, starting with the grip, okay? There's really no one right way to grip the curveball. A lot of different ways to grip it, but the 2 most common grips out there are basically grabbing the loop on one side or the other. So for me, I always like to kind of get the inside of that big loop right there, the inside of that horseshoe, and go diagonally across the ball, kind of split the ball in half, okay, with my middle finger and my thumb. Okay, so I'm going across the ball that way and getting inside of that seam with my middle finger, being able to grab onto it there. The other way to do it is basically the same idea, just going across those skinny seams and grabbing the loop on the other side. So they grab the horseshoe or the loop on the inside of that seam, going across the seams that way. Okay, so that's just the other way to grip it. Again, there are a lot of different ways. You know, you could even grip it that way. If you can find a seam that you can grab onto, you can throw it that way. I like this way or this way the best, because then you get 4 seams going against the air, creating more air pressure, and you're able to get theoretically sharper break that way. It's really about how it leaves your hand though. So find a grip that works for you and stick with it, but be able to grab that seam. Let's just go through that hand position and wrist position. Okay, the second thing you need to have, hand position and wrist position. So I mentioned on my fastball, I'm here, on my curveball, I'm on the side of it. A lot of times kids think to get the right spin on a curveball, they need to snap or turn their wrist. And really that's not it. There's like a teaching cue about turning the doorknob when you throw this pitch, and that's really, I think, a pretty bad cue in my opinion. Really it's about hand position and wrist position, being on the side of the ball, because if you think about what you want the ball to do on a 12-6 curveball, basically it's going to be a good downward break. You hear about this pitch, you guys describe it as falling off a table, or a pitch dropped off the table. And that's the kind of action you want to see on this pitch. So try to kind of visualize that in your mind, how you want that ball to be going, and that's basically the arm action that you want on this pitch. You want to be able to get over it with your middle finger, kind of throw the top of the baseball and get that good tight top spin on the ball basically. That's the way the ball has to spin. On your fastball, when you throw it, you're going to get backspin on the ball. It's going to stay straighter. It's basically the opposite on your curveball. We want it to be going this way. And if you get that good end over end rotation, that's where you're going to get that good downward break from. So to do that, you just want to stay on the side of the ball as you throw it and be able to get over the top of it with your middle finger. And notice how it's kind of straight from my elbow up to my middle finger there. There's kind of a straight line, and I'm kind of hooking it with my middle finger there. And if you just maintain that as you throw it, that's all you need to do. Okay, that's what you want to do as you throw this pitch. We're not turning, twisting, or curling to throw this pitch here. It's just maintaining that. All right, now let's move into the last thing you need to have is good finger pressure with that middle finger. The middle finger I mentioned in the beginning is the most important finger on the curveball. When it leaves your hand, it's going to leave off your middle finger. You need to be real strong with that middle finger as you throw it, or you're going to lose it. It's going to kind of be like a floater or a flat curveball. If you get through it all the way with a good strong middle finger, kind of hooking it there as you throw it, that's where you're going to get that good tight rotation. Now, let me just kind of quickly talk about some of the biggest mistakes I see with kids when they first start trying to throw the curveball. I mentioned before that you don't want to be twisting or turning the wrist. Okay, so we're not turning the doorknob. We're just working on maintaining this as we throw it. So a lot of times I'll see kids when they think they need to do something with their hand or their wrist when they throw it, and they're doing this. And if you throw this pitch and your hand is pointing up at the end, the palm of your hand is facing the sky at the end, that's no good. That's not what we want to do, because look what happens with my elbow right there. I'm getting a lot of kind of bone on bone action there. That's not what we want. It's not going to be effective for throwing the curveball. You're not going to get that good, tight, sharp break on the ball. Plus, it's going to be worse for your elbow. Okay, so that's not how you throw it. You want to be able getting through it this way, right here. Okay, so I'm just getting over it with my hand. from the side, just like that. All right, so just get in front of a mirror and work on that, get a feel for it, because that's really important, that you're not doing this, trying to twist it, and getting this action as you throw it. All right, and that's basically it. That's my video on how to throw a good traditional 12-6 curveball, specifically 3 things you must do to throw a good curveball. Hope you liked it. If you want more pitching tips and strategies, head on over to betterpitching.com. I've got a free report for you. You can grab over there just for entering your email address. So that's basically it. You know, good luck working on your curveball. Go out there and get them.